Hi guys, welcome back to Helltaker the Second Circle. Last time, me and Azazel helped the museum catch the thief that's been putting fraudulent art up there. And we also got a peek of our angel's true form. And I'm not sure if I could say that it's holy. But anyways, that was Azazel. Now we move on to Justice's third date. So, what you got in store for today, girl? Even though it's just a trip to the hobby shop, you find yourself unusually nervous for your upcoming date with Justice. So nervous, in fact, that you end up taking much longer than usual to get ready. As you are comparing two seemingly identical red button-downs, you hear a knock at your door. Yo! You ready yet, Chief? Yeah. Not wanting to keep Justice any longer, you throw on one of the shirts and head out to meet the demon. I mean, they're identical red shirts. Anyway. Alright, let's go. Lead the way then, my dude. Keys in hand, you and Justice skip downstairs and load up into the car. The engine rumbles to life and soon you're on the road to the hobby shop. By the way, what exactly is a hobby shop? It isn't a terribly long trip, but nevertheless, Justice is quick to fill the air with light conversation. I gotta say, I'm eager to get a feel for the infamous Taker's old stomping grounds. When was the last time you visited a hobby shop? Actually, that's a good question. I used to go to this place all the time, but I stopped going. Just like that. Was it because of your little vacation in hell? The sorts of things you see down there. Well, they do have a tendency to change a person. No, it wasn't that. Honestly, I stopped going to the hobby shop long before I met all of you. Oh? What happened to make you quit? It's, we're here. Taker, don't dodge the question. As if to save you from answering any uncomfortable questions, the hobby shop edges into view. Nestled in between a pair of old brick buildings, you feel a familiar nostalgic tug at the sight of the dilapidated shop. You pull into one of the many parking spots lined up out front. The sign out front, lettering over the window, reads Vergelmir Hobby Shop. I know I butchered that name. Ready? Yeah, but before Justice can finish her sentence, you hop off the car and stride up to the front door. The demon lets out an exasperated sigh before following you inside. Oh wow, what in the world are those products? Your arrival is heralded by the chime of a bell, and a familiar voice greets you as you are plunged into the shop's uniquely stale musk. Ah yes, that old store smell. What the wait, what? The Grandpa Taker? Dear me. Is that really you, my boy? Oh, hey, Gramps. Grandpa Taker it is, then. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, it's me. Why, I never thought I'd see you walk through those doors again. And yet, here you are. Yeah, here I am. How I've missed you, son. It's funny you should show up, though. Why is that? Just the other day, someone was asking about you. Asking about me? It's one of the exiled demon girls, huh? Mm-hmm. It was a lady. A couple of ladies, actually. At this, the man smirks and wiggles his eyebrows. You pretend not to notice. They saw the picture of you that I keep up here and wanted to know more about it. Proudly, the old man pats the wall behind him. It's labeled Wall of Fame, and below there are several pictures with tiny homemade plaques under each. Amid the images, you spy your own photo, a little larger than the rest, near the dead center. Oh. I'm surprised you kept that. But of course I did. It's my pride and joy. Gramps. So you're Taker's grandfather, huh? Oh, now who's this? A friend of yours, my boy? Not quite. Our relationship is burgeoning. I mean, we are more than a bit beyond friendship, I'd say. Justice lowers her glasses and winks at you over the jet black lenses. Wouldn't you agree, Chief? The forwardness of Justice's statement catches you off guard. Before you can find your bearings and reply, you hear a thunder of triumphant laughter come from the old man behind the counter. Now that's a fine young lady, I tell you what. In the midst of his joy, Gramps claps you back on the back with such surprising force that you're nearly knocked off your feet. Actually, let's pause for a sec. Is Grandpa Taker even bigger than Helltaker? She's confident, earnest, and gorgeous to boot. You best treat her well, son. Yes. I plan to. Good. Now that's what I like to hear. But it's gotta be pretty convenient having a family member work for the hobby shop. About that. Sadly, I'm not actually his grandfather. Oh? Thought I might as well be, given how much time he used to spend here. But he calls you Gramps? Bah, everyone calls me Gramps around here. Anyway, what brings you guys here today? Don't tell me. Are you getting back into painting? As a matter of fact, you bet he is. Ha ha! Well, that's great to hear. Let me guess. I have you to thank for this new development, don't I, miss? Nah, I just gave him a little nudge. The rest was all him. Well, I must say, that warms my heart to hear. Now, what can I help you find today? I imagine since it's been so long, your paints have gone bad, haven't they? Right. Now that is a pickle. A full restock on paints will cost you a pretty penny. I was afraid of that. In any case, is the wall still there? The wall? That it is. I presume you know the way. How could I forget? I must admit, it's nice to see that this place hasn't changed much. Gramps grins and you nod before walking away. Justice quickly trails behind you. Nestled between the board games and the treaty cards is the section dedicated to models and painting. Rows upon rows of box sets lay before you, a veritable cornucopia of tabletop figurines. And in the midst of it all, lies the wall. Oh, that was the wall that we were already looking at earlier. And these sculptures, I could see one is, I'm guessing an angel, and one is, I'm guessing a demon. Anyways, the wall, a literal monolith, towers above you like a technicolor wave. To call it a rainbow would be an insult to not only its magnificence, but also to the sheer number of pigments it contains. For a while, you find yourself awestruck, and perhaps a little overwhelmed by the sight. Even Justice, who has stepped forward to inspect the wall with her fingertips, is utterly stricken by its size. She could actually tell it's massive despite being, blind. There's no way she was able to get a feel for all of whatever these are. Holy cow! What kind of obelisk is this, Taker? I didn't know you humans could even see this many colors. I'm almost certain that we can't. And yet, there's so many of them. Every pigment known to humankind. And yet many more probably undiscovered. And some known only to shrimp. Exactly. I don't even know where to begin. It's so overwhelming. Well there, big guy. Don't zone out on me just yet. There's so many colors. Stay with me now. Let's think about this, yeah? Remember when we were talking about all of this the other day? Yeah? You went through the different paints with me then. And you mentioned a few of the staples that are used more often, right? Right. What were those? Shades, metallics, and base coats? Alright, good. Let's go from there then, shall we? Okay, yeah. You turn to scan the wall for the requisite paints and find that your eyes are quickly drawn to the base coats first. Here we go, base coats. You step forward and begin to load up your hands with numerous tiny bottles. Okay, metallics next. Yeah, here's some. You grab some more paints, filling your arms. In your haste, some of them escape your grasp and clatter to the floor. Justice is quick to pick them up and saddles up to you with her arms open. Here, just hand them to me. I'll hang on to them for you. Thanks. As you pluck paints off the wall, you pass them over to Justice, who begins to ferry them over to the counter for you. Excuse me. Before long, you have a nice little pile of paint bottles ready for purchase. Alright, that was the last set of shades, right? Yep. What's next? Well, now I need to think about what colors I'm going to use for the main body of my figures. That's easy. What's your favorite color? Red. But I think I want to try something different. Ah, I see. Well, I could tell you my favorite color. You have a favorite color? Of course I do. I wasn't always blind, remember? Right. So, what's your favorite color? Yeah, I'm actually curious. Yellow. It reminds me of the flower fields from when I was a little demon. I wasn't exactly supposed to visit them, but I also didn't exactly listen. There are flower fields and hell. Actually, yeah, backtrack. Flower fields and hell. Hell, where It's practically a barren wasteland. Just one. And it's more of a meadow, really. Some mortals believe it's only filled with asphodels. But that isn't true at all. In reality, it's filled with all sorts of flowers, in rows and bunches of every color you can imagine, stretching from one horizon to the next. I spent a lot of time in that place. Sure, it was no paradise. But when you're a kid in hell, it might as well be, you know? Anyway, I like the sunflowers the most. Sunflowers! In hell, where there's barely sunlight. And though it's been 1,000 years or so, I can still picture their bright yellow petals. I see. Yellow it is, then. You turn your attention back to the wall and begin to seek out the yellows. Justice, meanwhile, squeezes your arm affectionately before heading off to drop the last of the paints onto the counter. Is that the last of it? Though you're on the other side of the shop, thanks to the emptiness between you and the counter, you are privy to the conversation between Justice and Gramps. Not quite, but almost. I see. Good, good. The old man nods in your direction. It's nice to see him again. Has it been that long? A number of years, at least. What happened, if you don't mind me asking? I'm afraid that's not entirely my story to tell. It's his. I take it he hasn't told you much? No, he hasn't. Give him time. If he hasn't told you yet, I'm sure he will someday. I can see that he trusts you a great deal already. And for good reason, it seems. What about that picture you have of him up there? Can you tell me what's that for? Ah, now that's a fun story. A bit of a long story, mind you. But for the looks of our friend here, I'm sure you've got some time to kill. I'm guessing you're right about that. Now, where to begin? First things first, it's important to note that this is my shop. I've owned and run it since I was about his age. My old dad passed it down to me when I got old enough, and it's been in my name ever since. There's not a lot of money in running a hobby shop, of course, but that's also not why I do it. Even so, I ran into some financial trouble a few years back. It was looking like I had to close up shop for good before long. What happened? That young man is what happened. When he caught wind of what was going on, he jumped in to help right away. He rallied up all the other regulars to the shop, a bunch of figurine painters like himself, and convinced them to set up their workstations here in the shop. Then he printed off a bunch of flyers saying that people could come back in and have their painting commissions done on the spot. And that all the money could go to helping the shop stay open so that these wonderful artists will have an easy way to get the supplies that they needed. How many people showed up? Frankly, miss, I lost count. All I know is that in a couple of weeks, I had enough money to pay off the shop's debts and then some. It was remarkable. All those kind people worked so hard to keep you afloat, and I don't know if I'll ever repay them. But none of them worked quite so hard as that young man right there. Oh, God, I got something stuck in my throat, excuse me. He may not be the best artist out there by a long shot, but he was right there with the rest of them painting his heart out. Even after everyone else went home, he stayed behind fulfilling commission after commission. Most folk came by just because they liked his determination. In any case, that's why his picture's up there on my wall. Him and all the others who saved my father's shop. My only regret is that the most I could offer them is a meager discount on painting supplies. It isn't much, but I hope it's enough. Wow. I had no idea. I'm not surprised. That boy's not one to brag, really. He's got a mind to accomplish what he sets out to accomplish, and that's that. Once he has a goal, he'll go to hell and back to make it happen. Yup, he will go to hell and back to make his goals happen. I know for sure, just like the rest of you. Done, I know it. Well, thanks for telling me all of this, Gramps. I should probably go check on him, though. Make sure he hasn't gotten too transfixed by the wall. Hell get ya. A moment later, you feel Justice at your side again. She loops her arm around yours and brushes her fingertips against your skin. How's it going over here, Chief? I think I'm ready. Alright then, shall we? Yeah, let's go. With Justice leaning affectionately against you, you make your way up to the counter. However, just before you arrive there, something catches your eye and you drag the procession to a grinding halt. Whoa! What's with the sudden brakes? You don't reply right away, instead finding yourself so stunned into silence that you cannot muster the words. On the shelf before you sits an enormous set of figurines of all kinds. It's so elaborate that it would take you weeks just to put it together, twice that to paint it all. Without taking your eyes from the box, you reach into your pocket and withdraw all the cash that you brought along with you. What is it, Taker? It's... You do a little mental math in your head to see if the set fits into your budget. Too expensive. Damn it. Your shoulders sag at the realization. You feel Justice step in front of you to lift the set off the shelf. Wow, this thing is a beast. ... You sure we can't afford it? I'm afraid not. Rats. Even if you put back some of the paints? You look down at the yellow pigments in your hand. Sure, you could put some of them back and it would give you just enough to be able to buy the set. But then you wouldn't be able to fully paint a set of Sunflower Knights for Justice. And since it's thanks to her that you're even here at all, you can't help but feel you owe her at least that much. So, you decide to hang on to the paints instead. No, I'd rather hang on to the paints. I've got plenty at home to paint anyway. Maybe we could get it some other time. Justice nods and heaves the box back onto the shelf. Without further ado, you approach the counter and prepare to pay. As Gramps is ringing up your things, you catch sight of your picture on the wall and are reminded of what the old man had said earlier. Hey Gramps, I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about those people who came in and asked about my picture. Well, sure, I suppose. What would you like to know? What did they ask about? Nothing out of the ordinary. Just your name and about your time here. Could you tell me anything specific about their questions? Afraid not. My mind doesn't work quite like it used to. Can you at least give me an idea of what they look like? Now that I could do. They were really distinct, if I recall. All but one of them, that is. How many were there? 3. One real tall lady dressed like one of them punk rockers. You know, stud bracelets, leather jacket, the works. Wait a minute, is it who I think it is? The other looked like a back alley watch dealer. Okay, that is for sure Mammon. And the third was... unremarkable and yet oddly familiar. I know it sounds crazy, but she reminded me of both the young lady who bags my groceries and the person who works at a bowling alley down near my house. Oh boy, that's Abby Abaddon. I see. Well, thanks, Gramps. It was good to see you again. You too, son. I hope you'll come back soon. Don't worry, I will. With a smile, you wave farewell and leave the shop. Outside, Justice stops you by the car. What was that about, Taker? I'm not sure. But there's something going on around here. I felt like I was being followed for some time now. What Graham said just now confirms it. I'll fill you in on the way home. Justice nods and hops onto the passenger seat. With one last lingering look at the door to the hobby shop, you too get into the car and fire up the engine. As you pull away to head home, you can't shake the feeling that someone is somewhere is watching you. Woo! Well, that was quite a third date. I really did think that we see a grandpa taker. Man. But yeah, we've got some paints for, just remembered now, the figurines we were painting back in the second date with Justice. And we also got some knowledge of Mammon, Abaddon, and Sathanas, who are probably watching me right now, and who knows when all four of those demon girls will strike at us. But we'll probably find out soon enough. Anyways, me and Justice got some paints for our figurines, and that was the third date. So now, well, not you yet, Lucy. Next up is Judgment. Can't wait to see what we'll do for her third date. Probably has to do with some more bugs. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed me and Justice getting some paint at the hobby shop and meeting Grandpa Taker, that's the real highlight for this third date. Hit that like button and consider subscribing if you want to see more content from me. And with that said, I'll see you around soon.